voice for North Queensland today.
Yes!
We all have a voice. They have a voice, notwithstanding our choice to use them not. Notwithstanding the best efforts of those who would render us silent. We have a voice. It is not a voice of hatred, violence and extremism, but a voice of warning, defiance, and a voice of hope. And as we can see from other protesters here, our voice doesn't go unchallenged. But that is the beauty and the appeal. It is the beauty and the appeal of the free and open democratic society that our voice seeks to defend. Now, long before, please, we can have a discussion after. Thank you very much. Our voice does not go unchallenged, but you show the beauty of our free democratic country. Now, long before he became President of the United States of America, Ronald Reagan was a voice for the American people. And in 1964, he said this: "There's no argument over the choice between peace and war, but there's only one guaranteed way you can have peace, and you can have it in the next second: surrender." Well, our voice says we will not surrender. We will not sit idly by and watch the Australian culture and the Australian lifestyle that we love and that is envied around the world. We are not going to see that surrendered and handed over to those who hate us for who we are and what we stand for. We will not hand over their free speech to those who hate us. And when Ronald Reagan spoke those words, he warned against the threat of the then Soviet Russia. And those words apply equally now to the threat of Islamic extremism and its complicit defenders. Reagan said, "Every lesson of history tells us that the greater risk lies with appeasement." And yet, that is the political and social environment that confronts us today. Appeasement. When I accepted this invitation to be a voice here today, I was disappointed, although not entirely surprised, by the tidal wave of hyperventilation and confected outrage on social media, in the mainstream media, and from capital city commentators. Labor's Shadow Minister for Immigration, Richard Marles, said today's rally was synonymous with racism.
It is racism!
Our state member for Mackay described my comments in accepting your invitation to speak here today as appalling, shameful, ignorant and hateful. And in doing so, she's reflected upon you and your fellow like-minded citizens. A petition even urged the Prime Minister to prevent me from attending today. So the apologists of the left, the do-gooders and the politically correct crowd said I shouldn't address you because you, apparently, are a crowd of racists, bigots, Islamophobes, extremists, white supremacists, skinheads and Nazis. But when I look here today and I look at this crowd, that's not what I see. What I see is mums and dads who love our country, the Australian culture, the Australian lifestyle and our freedom. I see hard-working local families who want their kids to enjoy the same freedoms that were enjoyed by the generations that came before them. Some of the freedoms Australians hold most dear are freedom of speech and freedom of religion.
Which Australians are you talking about?
And in this country, every Australian believes in freedom of speech and freedom of religion, I would hope. In this country, I'm proud of the fact that someone who has a particular religious belief can hold that view without fear or intimidation. They can practice their faith, whether they're Christian, whether they're Buddhist, or whether they're a Muslim. They can go to a church, they can go to a temple, they can go to a mosque, and they can do so without fear of intimidation. And the full force of the law can and should come down on anyone who tries to intimidate them. And likewise, we have the freedom to criticise in this country. And while it's not my cup of tea to criticise religions, and I did disagree with some of the stuff that Amy said. The reality was, I see that people criticising Christianity every single day of the week without the fear of retribution or fear of violence or fear of being called a Christophobe or fear of being called a racist. I mean, when was a religion a race?
Victimising.
In fact, we've seen many examples in this past year alone of Christians in other nations being slaughtered for no other reason than they're Christians. But in this country, that should not be tolerated. In this country, we also enjoy the right to protest, the right of peaceful assembly. It's like we're doing here today, and like our friends on the left over there and friends on the right behind us are doing as well. We all have the right to be here today, protesting in a peaceful way. We are protesting against the dangers of radical Islam and the culture of appeasement that allows radical extremism like that to
Racism.
That culture of appeasement to radical Islam dictated that I should not speak here today for fear of giving you credibility, as if your voice would otherwise have no credibility. Well, I'm going to say you've got a very credible argument. You people have credibility. The right to peaceful assembly, the right to freedom of speech, the right to freedom of religion, the right to feel proud of our nation and what it stands for. These are rights worthy of defending, and they are rights about which we need to be eternally vigilant. Now, last month marked the 800th anniversary of the Magna Carta, the charter agreed to by King John in England at Runnymede as the 15th of June 1215. Now, the sentiments of that document actually underpin the free and democratic Western society that have delivered the most modern, free and most appealing societies in the world. But we, as beneficiaries of that society, must be, as I said, ever vigilant against threats, both internal and external, to our freedom and our democracy. We must not ignore the fact that there is another world view out there. We can't stick our heads in the sand and pretend there's not an alternate world view that's opposed to democracy and freedom. And we must not confuse that ideology with religion. Islamism is a political system whereby everything that happens in your life, in everyone's life, must fit under the laws of radical Islam, of Sharia. It is not just people in Iraq and Lebanon and Syria that subscribe to that world view. This is no longer something that is over there. It's not a threat that only exists on foreign shores. It's a threat that is within our midst as well. And there are those within our shores who sympathise and even actively support and recruit for organisations like the Islamic State. Now, these people have declared war on Western civilization, and we would be foolishly naive to think that we are not at war with radical Islam. The spread of repressive ideologies under our very noses, right here in our own country, has already begun. And I refer to the slow spread of a Sharia-style dispensation of justice, which is quietly executed in Australian mosques, unfortunately, on a daily basis. Now, it's a form of justice that perpetuates the oppression and abuse of women, and yet we don't dare speak of it because we're going to be instantly attacked as racist. And it's sad to see those who wish to take a stand against the tyranny of Islamic extremism, the ideals of Islamism, are the ones who are being accused of being racist, bigoted or intolerant. And yesterday, the leader of one of those rent-a-crowd protesters, a Flinders University student, James Vegas, he was quoted by the ABC as saying people attending the Reclaim Australia rally in Adelaide, quote, don't like Muslims, they don't like refugees, they don't like gay and lesbian people, they don't like trade unionists, they don't like women. Well, this comes from someone defending extremists who wants to kill non-Muslims, throw gay people off tall buildings, and they deny women the most basic of human rights. Reclaim Australia is about none of those things. In fact, opposes all of those. Rather ironically, all the traits of these so-called anti-racism protesters complain about the lie at the very heart of the extremists, the radical Islamists that they try to protect. The very traits that you, in rallying here today, are rallying against. And certainly, as with any movement, there are fringe dwellers who seek to pervert the intentions of others. And it's sad to see that, in places like Sydney and Melbourne, we had neo-Nazi skinheads turn up at those rallies. And the fact is, though, that these neo-Nazi skinheads, they actually are fellow travellers of the extreme Islamic movement, because they share so many of the same hate-filled ideology. Nazi ideology like Islamism or political Islam offers no right to freedom of speech. It offers no right to association. It has a strong hatred of the Jewish people and a hatred of democracy in general. It is extremism of any kind that we must guard against. It's ordinary folk, like you people here today, who must speak up. It is we who must not give in to the bullying and the intimidation, and speak without fear to our friends and family, our neighbours, people all through our life, about our freedoms, about our culture, our lifestyle, and the threat that radical extremism brings to those freedoms. We must refuse to abandon thousands of years of civilization for the sake of political correctness. And I would like to conclude by returning to Ronald Reagan's historic speech and applying it to the defence of Western civilization. He said, "We'll preserve for our children this, the last best hope of man, or we'll sentence them to take that last step into 1,000 years of darkness." Well, the choice is ours, the voice is ours, and thank you for allowing me to share my voice with you here today.